Listen, I've done a lot of side hustles in this gig economy, and I've certainly made mistakes and I have regrets. I'm going to talk about them in this video, covering a range of different apps and gigs for you, including some decisions that I certainly don't regret doing. You're going to want to see this. Number one, with my first side hustle, which was initially driving Uber and then shortly, I think 3 months after, adding Lyft. Listen, if you're doing kind of the OG gig economy side hustle, you do not have to heavily detail that vehicle. So I first started 2015 and it was like fancy and new. What is this Uber thing here in Pittsburgh? And I would detail my 2010 Dodge Caliber on the curb. I'd get it washed and then I'd put nice tire shine. I'd do all the little details, vacuum basically every single time. This is not 2015, 2016 anymore. Once a week, just keep it clean. But speaking of rideshare, one thing that I 100% don't regret doing, if you drive for Uber and Lyft, listen to this, especially if you're new. I didn't regret when I had a random person approach my vehicle from the back when I was waiting and trying to hail my vehicle. That's not how it works. Oh, by the way, it was on some random kind of alley or secondary road. I got out of there. I don't regret not taking overly drunk passengers, by the way, because it is a time bomb, folks. If you keep accepting those passengers driving the bar hours, we're talking overly drunk, okay? Use your best judgment here. It is, yes, a ticking time bomb for the nice interior of your vehicle, if you know what I mean. I don't regret not accepting open containers. I say, hey, you gotta drink that thing because it is not coming in this vehicle. Number two, turning our attention to when I charged Lime electric scooters in San Diego. I regret going after the scooters that were in kind of whatever, sketchy, okay, kind of weird scenarios. It was like an empty park at night, several times actually. There was one that was in a bush that was being used by a homeless person, fair play. And there was one that was thrown down a ravine. I didn't go after that one, so I don't regret that. Food delivery, of course, really the staple side hustle that I do now. Initially, a regret was waiting, well still, if I make this mistake, I guess, waiting too long at restaurants. Like 10 to 15 minutes should be your max gray zone. And during that time, you should be thinking, well, I have my reserved cancellations. I'm waiting for 12 minutes here. I'm about to cancel. And then while you're thinking about that, go online with the other apps. So when you do cancel, you have hopefully a better request or at least another request ready to go. Number four, don't love this one, but it certainly happened. I want to let you know here. I regret risky parking decisions, not reckless. Okay. Never did reckless. Don't do reckless, but like any risky thing, like, well, double parked or there's no parking spaces. So I'm like temporarily blocking a secondary entrance because you better not block a main entrance because that's not going to fly there. Actually, now that I think about it, I've only gotten one ticket in doing this stuff for years and years, thousands and thousands of trips and transactions. If you want to see what happened, I'll leave it linked for you up above. But yeah, the better move is, let's say a small parking, what am I thinking, plaza is filled. Then what I'll do now is just park in the neighboring side street or just bump over to another. If there's an adjacent small plaza, but it's not, connected, I'll just park over there and then walk across versus something a little risky. Because I'll just tell you, one ticket is going to negate how many days or hours of earnings there, right? Number five, this is a big one. This is one, honestly, that I was making too much because I was flat broke. And a company that I was working for went under and couldn't pay us. And I was really hurting for money. So I was rushing. And I'll tell you, it's a huge mistake. It's rushing to food delivery at the time. But it's a really embarrassing story. I don't know if I ever told this, but I had a food delivery pickup at a plaza in San Diego, like East San Diego. It was some like Chinese place. And I was so stressed about money. I had barely any money to put, gas in my vehicle. I needed every penny, so I was really booking it. And I'm just in and out of the vehicle. And I enter the restaurants pushing the door the wrong way. So it was a pull and I pushed it and it made the most awful grinding metallic sound. And that entire restaurant and staff just glared at me. And I was not happy about that. I was mad at myself and that dumb situation. And I still had to go in there and pick up the food as the restaurant was pretty much quiet, hating the delivery guy that apparently doesn't know how to use a door. Super embarrassing, but just in general, don't rush. Honestly, you're not going to complete what? You think you're going to complete maybe one more order for that hour? It's going to be like $7 to like $10. I get it. And I've been there. Trust me, I've been there with negative money in my bank account. I needed every penny, but please don't rush. On the road, putting yourself in danger, others, making stupid mistakes, anything like that. That is honestly one of the biggest takeaways. Please don't rush. And if you sympathize for just that stupid scenario, can you drop a like on this video and make me feel better? Number 6, especially if you're looking at growing, starting a business, or if you're really starting to make some money here as an independent contractor, or again, business owner in general, is not paying enough taxes. So if you don't know, I've been full-time on YouTube for 3 years. I've done it since when? 2017? Anyway, as the business starts to make more and more money, you have to start researching. You have to start learning tax brackets and quarterly estimated taxes. If you're bringing in money from this, and this, which I love. Listen, I want you to have like 4 to 6 revenue streams, if I'm honest. I want you to have a nice portfolio of investments. I want you to have active and semi-passive revenue streams as well. And as you do that, especially as you start growing scale, you're going to have to pay more and more taxes. Oh, trust me, I've paid my fair share in full, yes, of taxes, but there's a little bit of catch up there because I didn't know. Number 7, going back to the more traditional apps and platforms, I kind of regret hosting my vehicle on Turo, my Volkswagen Passat, because that is my work vehicle. And we have a whole playlist. I do this for you a lot of the times. I want to give you the experience. So I will go through the gauntlet for you and list my, work vehicle, I guess. You get the point. But the pay for the miles and the unknown of how fast are they driving? How hard are they on the vehicle? Are they driving on like completely unpaved roads? Something crazy like that. Now, a little tip for you, by the way, you can install trackers, speed track. I think Verizon Connect is one or something like that, non-sponsored, but you can track that vehicle. So GPS, speed, and all of that. Disclaim it in your Turo hosting. I mean, I didn't have any horror stories per se, but I did get at least 2 customers that returned the vehicle like pretty dirty. Actually, one did smell pretty bad. You can kind of take some guesses, and it wasn't cigarettes, what it smelled like. And just others that I could tell it was just straight highway driving. So yeah, not a fan of that one. And I can even throw in Wrapify, getting paid to wrap your vehicle in an advertisement. It was like a 3-month campaign doing that. And for the pay, it wasn't particularly worth it. Now, keep in mind, I don't regret doing any of these at all for the content for you. I mean, half the fun is just seeing how it goes and making the content. And that's all I do here. I help you make money in different side hustles. So trust me, I don't regret the content at all. It's pretty fun actually. But the business side of it, like from a business perspective, some of those platforms certainly aren't worth it. And number 8 really pertains to anyone from that 1099 independent contractor gig worker to someone who's looking to grow their own business, especially monetizing across socials. By the way, we do have a course, Mastering YouTube. I take a lot of pride in this one. 7 hours to do this, 50 plus modules going over exactly what I've learned in 6+ years, 1,200 videos, 17 million views, and tons of research and mistakes. Save 18% on that course. It's linked down below. But I'll say I have a little bit of a regret not doing my research on the business structure side and the deductions. So even if you're a DoorDash Dasher, Uber, Lyft driver, all of these, gigs, you can take business deductions like business expenses, these supplies, maintenance, whatever it is, that can be deducted, which just offsets your taxable income. Now, I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax professional. I can't give you legal professional tax advice, but look into that, with your CPA, business deductions. Cause I'll tell you this, actually, what I'm looking at right now, the camera, actually we'll leave some of the stuff that I use on the channel linked on this video so you can check it out. But the camera's a deduction, the lights, the equipment, the laptop, the microphone, all this stuff, right? But then it's creating an LLC. Well, how do I pay my own 1099 independent contractors? Because I have an editor. Because I was a little afraid of taking bigger expenses and deductions. Again, like camera, $2,500, lens, $1,500, laptop, $3,000. And then the percent that it's used for business, I can write it off. Now, you're still paying for the item, but you can write it off so that whatever it is, $3,000 is going to come off of my taxable income. And kind of next level stuff of that is how can I best leverage my LLC? How can I best leverage just future staffing in the business, different revenue streams as well? Now we're talking about, my business here on YouTube. So let me know if you want to learn more about that, or, if we need to create an inner circle or something like that, just to talk about the monetization here on socials, on YouTube, what have you, because I think that's a big thing. If you're, trying to step away from the gig economy stuff, which is fine. It's kind of apples and oranges. I understand that, but there are some real tax advantages with some of that other business stuff.